And greetings. So last time I left off more sullen, took you back to a darker place, completely out of order. So we'll get back to the chronological thing and maybe some more fun anecdotes about Lackland Air Force Base and basic training. So as I progressed through the days, the shock of being the leader and having all these responsibilities wore off. Now I started to progress and gain confidence as a leader, more confidence in myself. I couldn't shine boots, but we had a couple guys in there could shine boots a lot. Okay, you guys shine boots. Another couple guys could really fold clothes a lot. You guys fold the clothes. If you had a specific thing that you could do, I assigned you a group to it and made us all look good. So that's how we got by. Still getting smoked and left and right for the infractions. And you stop minding after a while because number one, I think the TIs, the training instructors, you forget they're human too. We had two of them, and they're human beings. So if something happened to them at home, regardless of what job they had and how professional they were, you could see it in them here when they came to work. Or if they were getting bashed because we did something wrong, dear God help you. So that was the biggest thing. And look, you figured out quickly, don't draw attention to the group. Things that started to amaze me, I was able to start to see around Lackland. I started seeing things that were confusing. I looked out because there's a marching pad. And when I say pad, don't get the reference of it's this palatial place with spongy. No, none of that. It's concrete, just huge football-sized fields of concrete. Out past the pad was just a prairie, a typical Texas prairie, and I thought there was just dogs out there running around. Well, we went and marched the perimeter one time. I marched them around the perimeter. I got closer. They weren't dogs. They were jackrabbits, the size of dogs, not small dogs either, a medium-sized dog. They were so big that you could march right up to them and they wouldn't care. And I was like, wow, that is something. Everything is bigger in Texas. All right, cool. We would be marching along and I don't know what it was. I don't know how it happened, but pigeons would just fall out of the sky. They would just hit the ground. They'd still be alive, fall straight out of the sky, hit the ground, still be alive, stay there for a few moments, and then fly back off. It was like they just, I can't do it no more. The heat, there's hardly any trees out here. I'm down. And things of, I'm from Florida, that doesn't happen. A favorite punishment, however, for if you were messing up or caught doing something, because imagine this, there's dorms, female and male, and when they would collude, and you would get some adult encounters there going on. And if you got caught, you would have to scrub the pad of pigeon shit. And I was like, wow, that is horrible. Absolutely horrible. And again, great deterrent. Great deterrent. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? The peacetime for us was Sundays. The Sundays, the TIs wouldn't even come in at all. We could march ourselves in to breakfast. We could go to church. Favorite pastime because again, you're just looking for some normalcy. and to get away from the barracks. I was just looking to get away um, uh, for a little bit because there's a striving for privacy. Um, One day we were marching and uh, we were going to the confidence course. And the confidence course is this rigorous, just um, obstacles at the river crossing, log rolls, rope swings, um, ascending heights, descending heights. You name it, it's there to test your overall commitment to physicality. I loved it. Let's go. The people who were hydrophobic, not so much. The people who were afraid of heights, not so much. The people who were not physically fit, not so much. But when we were marching, I saw it. Beautiful, not glistening. The SR-71 Blackbird. I'm a huge fan. My favorite plane between that and the A-10 Warhawk. But I would take the Blackbird because it just has so much mystique, almost like Boba Fett to it for me. I love that thing, like Storm Shadow from G.I. Joe. Just so much, like, wow, there's so much intrigue. What has that plane seen and done? Fascinating. How fast could it go? How high could it go? What is the pilot's experience having been the most shot at plane and never hit in the history of aviation? I'm like, it's the coolest thing I've ever seen. So I got later on during my stay there, I got to march just past it and I stopped. I stopped the whole flight and I went up to it. I was so happy and I noticed it a little bit closer. I'm like, it's not the SR-71. It's the missile packing older brother, some of the first iterations that was faster than the SR-71, the YF-12. And I was like, wow, I want to touch this thing because it's like history to me. Like, this is the coolest thing ever for aviation buff. And my dumb ass reached up there and I touched that plane out in the Texas sun. And I immediately burned my hand. And I was like, well, again, lesson learned. Never meet your heroes. But it was small experiences like that I began to relish. I'll never forget the first time Chow Hall became such a mind game. You don't want to get the attention of the TIs. They would sit at a table that you had to do facing movements. You had to march with your tray. Your tray had to be extended at a 90-degree angle. And then you had to do facing movements when you went past them, marching and squaring up your movements as far as turning left and it was because you would see people fall and just dump food everywhere. You would see and then they called where they sat the shark pit, and if you did anything wrong, you were screwed. And it was like, I just want to sit down and eat because again, the food was delicious. So. But before that, it was a whole thing of you had to get utensils and in a tray. So it all had to be in an order. And I was watching this kid get lit up because you could see people start to get flustered and panic. I don't know, I'm gonna get a fork, a spoon, and a knife. I'm gonna get a fork, a spoon, and a knife. And this guy's just sitting there, just berating everybody. What do you think you need a fork for? You ain't gonna have time for that shit. And so they wouldn't grab a fork. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna grab a fork. So I got up there and I just grabbed a spoon and a knife. Why the hell didn't you grab a fork? Come on, man. You can't respond because all they're looking for is to see that you have what is called military bearing, an ability to stay focused when chaos is around you. And they provide the chaos in ample droves, but it just would piss me off so bad because the food was so good. And again, you didn't want to draw attention to yourself. And then I found out a delicacy for that I would never, just by happenstance, come across. And then so coin this, try it, thank me later. For breakfast one day, went to do my normal thing. I got cereal, but I had like eggs and toast and things like that. I got cereal, and again, you don't want to draw attention to yourself. You don't want to stay at a station too long. So I went to get the milk, which was on the way to the table. They were out of milk. How the hell am I going to eat my Frosted Flakes? No milk. I'm eating this bowl. Regardless or not, I'm going to eat the bowl of Frosted Flakes, but I just needed some milk. They had chocolate milk. I panicked a little bit. Well, it can't be too bad. Dumped some chocolate milk in there, sat down. When that spoon hit my mouth, the delight, I was like, I've been missing this all my life. And I have never looked back. Chocolate milk with Honey Nut Cheerios, chocolate milk with with Frosted Flakes. Just try it. Pro tip. Okay, I'll talk more about basic next time. Might take tomorrow off. But until then, again, I implore you, encourage you, be the reason somebody smiles today. And have a beautiful day.